Despite the transfer window not being open, the club have been reportedly looking at strengthening the squad. Kasper Schmeichel is the player the boys have supposedly found a replacement for. We will discuss this in today's video, whilst going over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours.
But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content.
At 32, Callum McGregor remains the heartbeat of Celtic, the player through whom almost every phase of play runs. Yet this season, as the Celts have battled inconsistency and fatigue across multiple fronts, the captain's own form has become a topic of debate among supporters and pundits. McGregor's standards over the past decade have been remarkable. Since breaking into the first team, he has become a model of reliability, trusted by every manager he has worked under. His retirement from international football last year was meant to help preserve that consistency, giving him recovery time and focus for club duties. But while he continues to play every major game, the sharpness that once defined his tempo-setting performances has occasionally been missing. Part of the issue may not be McGregor himself, but the system around him. Celtic's play still runs almost entirely through their captain, from defensive build-up to attacking transition, and that burden can weigh heavily, especially in a side that has yet to rediscover its full rhythm under Brendan Rodgers this season. When Celtic struggle to find pace or penetration, McGregor's every touch is magnified, as though the entire creative responsibility rests on him alone. There are few natural replacements ready to ease that load. Paulo Bernardo has shown flashes of quality, but not yet the consistency to dictate play in the same way. Arne Engels, meanwhile, is still adapting to the demands of Scottish football and remains a developmental prospect rather than a guaranteed starter. Without a genuine like-for-like alternative, Rodgers has continued to rely on McGregor for control and stability, even on days when his influence has been reduced. Critics argue that the captain has looked more cautious, opting for safer passes where he once broke lines and drove forward. Supporters argue that he is still the team's most dependable outlet, rarely losing possession and constantly offering himself for the ball. What cannot be denied is that Celtic's rhythm, good or bad, mirrors McGregor's. When he dictates the game, the team flows. When he fades, so does their momentum. For Rodgers, finding a way to manage McGregor's workload without disrupting the spine of the side will be key as the season deepens. The skipper may no longer cover the same ground he once did, but his influence, composure, and leadership remain irreplaceable. Even as questions persist, Celtic still move to the beat of Callum McGregor. Now for the main story, as Celtic are reportedly exploring goalkeeping options ahead of next season, with Nick Pope and Ilan Meslier among the names under consideration. The recruitment team, led by Brendan Rodgers, is said to be weighing both permanent and free transfer possibilities as part of a long-term rebuild. This follows scrutiny over Kasper Schmeichel's recent form. The 38-year-old extended his deal in January 2025 until the summer of 2026, calling it the easiest contract I've ever signed. However, after errors against Braga in Europe and Aberdeen in the Scottish Cup final, the feeling is growing that Celtic need a long-term successor. While still a respected dressing room leader, Rodgers reportedly wants a younger, more athletic keeper for the next phase of his project. Alongside Pope and Meslier, Stefan Ortega, Manchester City, and Justin Bijlow, Feyenoord, are being tracked. Journalist Graham Bailey said, "They are looking at options on potential frees, and there are a few in the Premier League. There are lots of options for Celtic, but it will also depend on who is picking the side." Bailey added that the club's scouting network has expanded under Rodgers, with a strong focus on value and forward planning. For now, Schmeichel remains first choice, but the groundwork for his eventual replacement is already underway. In other news, support is growing among Celtic fans and pundits for Viljami Sinisalo to be handed a consistent run in the first team, as questions mount over Kasper Schmeichel's form and long-term future at the club. With the veteran goalkeeper's contract set to expire next summer, there is a growing sense that the Finnish international represents not just Celtic's future, but their present. Schmeichel arrived at Celtic Park with vast experience and pedigree, bringing leadership and calm to the dressing room. However, recent performances have raised concerns. His struggles in distribution and decision-making have been costly in key matches, including the defeat to Braga and the cup final against Aberdeen, where lapses of judgment were heavily scrutinised. The 38-year-old has been a reliable figure throughout his career, but time appears to be catching up with him, and consistency has started to waver. In contrast, Sinisalo has impressed every time he has been given the chance. Calm under pressure, confident with the ball at his feet, and vocal in organising his defence, the 24-year-old has shown the maturity of a far more seasoned player. His standout display in the derby at Ibrox last season highlighted his temperament and composure, earning plaudits from both fans and pundits. Inside Celtic Park, there's growing belief that his development is ready to be rewarded with more regular football. Brendan Rodgers has spoken in the past about the importance of player development and building for the long term, and Sinisalo perfectly fits that vision. The young goalkeeper's contract runs until 2029, a sign of how highly he is valued by the club hierarchy. With Schmeichel's deal expiring and his form under scrutiny, Celtic face a natural transition point. Many supporters believe now is the time to give Sinisalo the responsibility he has earned, allowing him to grow into the number, one role rather than waiting for next summer's decisions. As Celtic juggle domestic ambitions with European competition, stability between the posts is vital. Sinisalo's rise could mark the start of a new era, one built on trust, progression, and long-term vision. In other news, Celtic returned to league action against Dundee this weekend, with the Scottish FA confirming the officiating team for the trip to Dens Park. The match arrives at an important stage in the campaign as Brendan Rodgers' side look to regain consistency and keep their title challenge on course. Matthew McDermott will take charge of Sunday's clash, his first time refereeing a Celtic game this season. He'll be assisted by Dougie Potter and Chris Ray on the touchlines, while Gavin Duncan will oversee VAR duties from Clydesdale House, supported by Sean Carr as assistant VAR. McDermott is no stranger to Celtic fixtures, having officiated several matches last season. His most recent involvement came in March when he oversaw Celtic's 5-2 win over St Mirren at Celtic Park. He was also in charge of the 4-1 victory away to Ross County and the 4-0 home success against St Johnstone. While this will be his first time as on-field referee for a Celtic fixture this term, his name has already been linked to a major moment involving the champions. McDermott served as VAR during Celtic's 2-1 win over Kilmarnock earlier in the season, when a late penalty decision sparked debate among fans and pundits. That incident was later referenced by SFA head of refereeing Willie Collum, who confirmed that guidance around handball decisions had since been recalibrated.
What do you think of what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comments section below. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.